back, everybody, to the Sports Life Network Soccer Report. In this episode, we'll be talking about the Bundesliga once again because that's the only thing that's going on. We also have news that Premier League's actually going to come back.
Yes.
Fingers crossed, right? But for this episode, we got Marcus.
Hello, everybody. Best signing in the world.
Amir.
Hi.
And newcomer, we have
Classic Amir.
we got a newcomer. It's Nick.
Hi, I'm making my debut today. This is a big moment.
Debut.
Big time here. We're gonna be famous after this video, I promise. But this match week 28 in the Bundesliga was a big one, and pretty much it's after looking at it, it pretty much decided the champion. Because for the first match, we had Dortmund losing to Bayern Munich 1-0 from a Kimmich chip and a half.
Delicate chip. Delicate finish.
Yeah.
No mistake by the goalie's part whatsoever.
Yeah, I think we can
I don't know about
that. Can we all agree?
You don't want to take away from though. You don't want to take away from Kimmich. Like the play in general was really good.
Yeah.
Like the way he drove it to get back.
Yeah, the finish is still fantastic though.
Yeah.
Nick, do you have a
see.
problem with his positioning or just honestly the strength of like his attempted
So
save?
little bit of both. I just generally think that Borky could do better. I think that like the chip comes in naturally. It's a little unexpected, so he's kind of caught a little bit out of position, in my opinion. But that may not come down to the fact like his own positioning. But when it comes to it, like he's got to have a stronger right hand. I just think like. It was a weak, attempt to save that, in my opinion. But I mean, I'm not a goalkeeping expert, so
I could see that. I thought his positioning was okay, but I guess you could.
I might agree with that actually. His attempt to try and punch it away was like very lackluster. Like you expect better from a goalie, especially like a big team like Dortmund.
Still a big win for Dortmund.
But yeah, this week in goalkeeping was just not good for the Bundesliga. We'll get on with that later.
Oh yeah.
But
honestly, like
you can go.
Oh, honestly, I just thought this was a pretty even game. Like overall, like shot wise, it was equal. XG had it equal. Kimmich just had a really really good game. Him and Davies.
Yeah, especially Davies.
Oh, Davies was insane. Davies was so good. Yeah.
5 dribbles, like honestly, like he was like just running that left side, and Kimmich. I mean, apparently Kimmich like broke a record for like
kilometers. Right?
Yeah, it was around 13.
Oh, that was that game. Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, like that's incredible. I mean, between the two of them, like I mean, they're both really young. So I mean, that's Bayern Munich like core, going forward. But I mean, honestly, I think I mean, like Kimmich has like 104 touches. Like it was like second most on the pitch. Like he was everywhere, and Davies was just all down that left side.
Yeah,
honestly.
I think this is like Davies coming out party right now. It's like I think everyone's got eyes on him now, and it's like I don't know if he's gonna get sold to a bigger team, or he stays at Bayern, tries to do something there.
I think he has to stay at Bayern. I don't know how much like higher up you could kind of go.
Yeah, I was just about to say you can't go much higher than Bayern.
It wouldn't make sense for him to go to Barca.
Aren't Barcelona looking for a fullback though?
Yeah,
Jordi Alba's like 30.
Yeah, I was getting older.
But Barcelona have Junior Firpo, so it would just make Firpo a useless signing because he's supposed to be like a future signing for left back. He's like 23 or something.
Yeah, and he's been all right this season. So I don't think he'll. I don't think Barcelona would go and try and poach Alphonso Davies, particularly the fact that just. Davies has kind of really liked living there. Like, I mean, like you see, like, just like generally speaking, I mean, he's TikTok star now, isn't he? But I mean, like his development under Hansi Flick has been really, really like rapid, but I mean, like really good. So I think he'll stay like long term. Like I don't see any changes being, made there.
Yeah, he has no reason to leave right now. And also another reason why Barcelona won't sign him is because Barcelona. They don't make sensible signings. That's not what they're supposed to do.
Genuinely.
Dude, have you heard about they're trying to sign Pjanic apparently? Why? He's like 30 years old.
Yeah.
Paulinho from the Chinese.
No, but he had one. No, but they were smart with that. I mean, like he had a fantastic season. Like genuinely,
they sold him for a season.
One season, then they sold him back.
Yeah, no, for the expectations, Paulinho was actually amazing. But like when he came, there were so many memes because like
Yeah.
they paid 40 million for him, and like his last experience in Europe was at Tottenham, where he was just a complete flop. So it was, on paper, his dumbest signing ever. He ended up being decent though, and they got profit. But like Coutinho and Dembele, even before like we saw how much of a flop they were, just they paid too much money for both of them. They paid like 300 million for the the two of them cost 300 million combined. That's crazy.
All right, we're keeping with this game right now. So this sees Bayern Munich have a good cushion in the lead with 64 points. Dortmund have 57. So I think it's all but over now. It's really everything else that this league is deciding the other spots, pretty much every other spot.
Mm-hmm.
Think we can agree with that?
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
Bayern don't have any like really difficult. I think they've got like Leverkusen left on the fixture list.
Yeah,
But
they have a tough schedule, but it's
They're not
like
going to lose 3
insane.
games, and Dortmund's going
No,
to
they-
all 3. It's not
There's just
gonna happen.
it's too big a gap at this stage. So
See,
I mean, like,
the only thing I've noticed here is that they have the Polka game, the final, right in the middle, in June 9th. So they have a game May 30th, June 6th, and then the Polka final is June 9th, and then they have another game June 13th.
I still don't think it would even affect them that much.
They might win the title before. They might
That too,
win the
yeah.
title by then.
They could be waiting the double there. Or what is it? The triple,
double,
sorry.
back to back.
But that's that game. It's unfortunate that Dortmund couldn't really play their game that well. You know, watching the game, I noticed that they were trying to do a lot more attacking or counter-attacking football, but it was just stuffed by anything that
Sloppy, yeah. It didn't really come together.
That's what they're good at, but they just couldn't string the final, pass in there. You know, when Goetze came on, you thought his first touch, I have no clue why he passed it. He should have shot it. But I mean, like, generally, like, what you expect, like, you expect the, Dortmund to be doing that fast counterattack since Haaland's come in, like, that's what they've been doing. And generally that's what you expect from Lucien Favre. But yeah, they just couldn't get it going. And I mean, like, it honestly was like an even game overall. Like, you look possession wise and shot wise, but I mean, you got to take your hat off to Bayern. They just took control when they needed to. Also,
I think Bayern just in general were in more control. Like in the first half, like I could just tell like they're smarter in the final. They're way more smart in the final third than Dortmund. I could just tell like if one of the teams were to have a big chance, Bayern would 100% take their chance more than Dortmund. I just felt like from the start that Bayern would win the game.
Yeah, that's the difference between champions too. Obviously Bayern has the experience of, big games and showing up when it matters. So it came through for them yesterday.
And I heard Haaland in Nick's explanation there. He didn't really look that good this game. And this is his really big first big game,
Yeah, he didn't have many shots. He was in the game. He had like 5 shots, so I'll take that back. So he was in the game. It was just like he was largely ineffective. He couldn't find space, and I think that was really what the problem was. I mean, you look at Alaba and Boateng actually had quite decent games that marking him out a bit, and recovery, runs and stuff. They kept him pretty much sheltered, marked him out of the game, and you got to take your hat off to that. I mean, he had a couple chances where I thought, maybe he'll score. When he had a breakaway in the
first minute of the game too.
Yeah, and so he just missed out. I think happens. I mean, like, it was the same thing with Lewandowski. Like I think they just earmarked them two and like both sides, and just like, all right, just mark the strikers out, and the rest will take care of itself. And in fairness, it kind of did. I think
Do you think he could have done better with that chance? One thing I want to talk about was like the Boateng handball, if that was a handball or not. I guess we could talk about it.
Yeah.
But,
under the new
I was gonna
laws,
say, do you think Haaland could have maybe done better there, Nick? Do you think Haaland?
Was that Alphonso Davies' recovery to stop?
No. It was when Boateng it was a questionable handball.
Oh, we're talking about the handball now.
No, I think he was probably he did everything I think in general he had a decent game. I don't know. That particular chance, you never know.
Yeah, is that all we got on this game pretty much?
Yeah.
I mean, should we talk about if it was a handball or not?
I'm gonna say no
Yeah.
handball.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna say not under the new laws. No.
No handball. Okay, but the minimum it has to be reviewed on VAR. Like, come on, they had to look at it at least.
I mean, technically, they're always looking at it. It's just whether or not the referee goes.
Well, yeah, the
look at
referee
it.
should take a look at it. That's what I think, because he
Yeah.
did stretch his. I think. I don't know if it was a natural position, to be honest. Like, it's a tough one.
Yeah, he was getting up, but he definitely like flexed the elbow out just a little bit.
I felt like it was going to be called, and then like Dortmund could possibly win the game, but then once I saw it was a corner kick, like, yeah, I just knew the game was over at that point.
Yeah, title was over.
All right, so moving on, we have Bayer Leverkusen getting, I'll say dominated by Wolfsburg. Yeah, this was just a flat-out world-class performance by Wolfsburg.
Yeah, it's weird because Leverkusen just came off the back of beating Mönchengladbach in 4th place. So you would think that, like, you know, they're going down to the 6th place team, they would be able to beat them. But like you said, I guess they just got dominated. So it'll be interesting to see who grabs that last Champions League spot.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw the result. Like, I'd be more used to seeing like Leverkusen winning 4-1, not losing 4-1, especially with like all the players that are on form, like Kai Havertz. But I didn't watch the game, but I can assume like they just got completely outplayed.
Yeah, Kai Havertz had a bad day. It was not good for him.
Yeah, they sheltered him very well. He was dispossessed like 4 times. And I mean, like, generally speaking, like, for someone who's actually very comfortable on the ball, you'd expect that not to happen. But I think it was just really down to the midfield for Wolfsburg. Like, the midfield was fantastic. Schlager and Arnold. I mean, between them, there was about 8 defensive actions. Arnold had 4 shots. I mean, 2 key passes and both assists. So from set pieces. So
yeah, Arnold had a great game.
The free kick was I mean, audacious to say the least.
You think that was a keeper mistake?
No, I just don't think you expect it.
That was unfortunate.
You don't expect to go under the wall. You never did.
Yeah.
So they got very lucky that they got the deflection. It's just like one of those goals that like the goalie just like has no chance at. Because the goalie was going to save it. It looked like if it didn't take the deflection. So
yeah. Would it be fair to say that the score was like a little bit against like the run of play? Because I see that Leverkusen had 64% possession, and
they had way less shots though, right?
Yeah, they only had 1 shot on target.
Yeah, I think it comes down to just the value of the chances. You know, like they defended set pieces horribly. I think Tapsoba got kind of unfairly criticized over this whole thing. I mean, he was basically marking 2 guys for the entire match, you know, on set pieces instead of, you know, just one. So or marking a zone. So he got kind of, you know, pooped on in a way. Pongracic has had 2 goals, you know, from both from set pieces.
Was Tapsoba marking Pongracic for the goal or something?
Yeah, he was marking Pongracic and
he lost both times.
Yeah, I think it was also Brooks or Veghorst. So it was just like a situation where, I mean, Tapsoba was a very good young defender, and I mean, he's active. He makes a lot of passes, makes a lot of defensive actions. But like in the situation, like he kind of got the short end of the stick.
Yeah, I guess it's just like because he's very young, doesn't have that much experience under his belt.
Yeah, and I think overall, Wolfsburg were good value for the win. They knew how to break down Leverkusen. They knew how to break the press. You know, XG had it 1.3 to 2.9 in Wolfsburg favor. So, I mean, you can't argue that like they didn't get good chances or anything like that. Like they played well.
Yeah, and this result helps Wolfsburg more than it hurts Leverkusen. Like, does that make any sense?
Yeah,
because it gives Wolfsburg more space. It gives them more room to make a mistake. They have 3 points ahead of Hoffenheim, but Leverkusen are still in the mix to try and get 3rd place. So it's not horrendous.
3rd place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually had argued.
They are, but I don't know if like they will really grab 3rd. I can see them, you know, taking 4th easily, but not necessarily going up to Leipzig's range. I don't know.
The only 2 points behind Leipzig. Actually,
Yeah.
I'd argue the opposite. I'd argue that
Oh, really?
it hurts more for Leverkusen because Wolfsburg, even if they lost that, they'd be seventh because of like goal difference. But like,
But I think
I don't know.
the
also, I just feel like Champions League is like way, way, way bigger than making the Europa League.
Oh, wait, as
like
far as for Leverkusen?
Yeah, like
Oh, yeah.
Leverkusen getting the Champions League is more of a big deal than Wolfsburg getting in the Europa League.
Yeah, but given the results of the teams around them, like you can kind of say like it didn't hurt Leverkusen as much as it could have. You know,
There's only Bayern won.
Yeah, of the top 5, only Bayern won. So if Gladbach and Leipzig had won, which I guess we'll get on to, you know, it would have hurt Leverkusen more. So I think like it just means that it's a very tight scrap for that, you know, for third and fourth spot going into, you know, the run in for these last 6 games. So I mean, I don't know what'll happen. Leipzig have the easiest fixture list, so I think it really comes down to Gladbach versus Leverkusen, which is a tough call.
Do they play each other?
They just said.
Wait, what did you say, Amir?
Oh, do Gladbach and Leverkusen play each other again this season, or like have they recently?
No, just over the weekend, where Leverkusen
over the
beat
weekend.
Gladbach, yeah. So
that's Leverkusen won, yeah, okay.
So I thought that was going to make the difference, but I mean, as it so turned out, you know, both of them ended up kind of throwing it. So, I mean, we'll see. I think I would expect Leverkusen to probably pull back. They have that a little bit extra talent than
I think Kai Havertz will make it.
But Gladbach are just a better managed side, so it's a tough call.
Yeah, we also have to take into consideration that the Polka game, whoever wins that gets to go to Europa League. So if Bayern win that, all the spots are going to move down one. So
7th place will be able to get Europa League.
And that's barring if who do they play? I think it's Frankfurt or something. Yeah, if they
the rematch.
Yeah,
it's Frankfurt. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, barring that another upset happens like that, you know.
And Frankfurt are like near relegation, so like it'll be huge if they win it.
Yeah, and speaking of Frankfurt, they had a shootout draw against Freiburg, and it was so like Freiburg scores first, then Frankfurt, and then Freiburg scored 2, Frankfurt scored 2. So it was a shootout game. It looked like it was pretty fun. I don't know if for both these teams heart-wise, but as a soccer fan, it would have been really fun to watch.
Yeah, neutral.
Yeah.
Was this the game with
oh my
corner kick? Or was this
the what?
Did this game have goals from the corner kick, or was this the defender making a mistake that led to one of the goals?
I don't remember. Maybe.
Is this not the Freiburg? Oh, okay.
Wow. Frankfurt dominated this game. Schwallow, the goalie for Freiburg, had 13 saves. Frankfurt had 34 shots to their 10, like 60% possession. Based on the stats, they should have battered them. But I mean, because they went 3-1 down, like I guess a 3-3 draw is pretty good for them.
Yeah, I mean, like you look at that, like 34 shots, and like they had like 16 on target to Freiburg's 5.
Do you know if they were good areas of shots?
Yeah, well, I mean, Frankfurt really should have won this game. Like, I mean, like statistically, they had everything in their favor. I mean, it was like 4.3 expected goals to 0.76 for.
I'm looking at the stats right now. Right, Freiburg had 1 big chance and they scored 3 goals. I just
yeah, and if you look at it like that, then you just have to say that. I mean, it comes down to Frankfurt's defense. It has been terrible.
No, Kevin Trapp had a bad game too. He popped the ball up.
Oh yeah,
straight up for just a perfect header for Freiburg.
This was the freaking, yeah.
Yeah, this I don't know, because the app I'm looking at right now, they have Kevin Trapp is a 4.8 for the game, worst player on the pitch.
Whoa.
He was pretty bad, and I mean, like you look at their attack, which was actually surprisingly good. You know, Silva had 6 shots, Kamada had 6 shots. Like they had everything going for them in the attack, and then when it came down to actually defending, they were atrocious.
They blew it, yeah.
Yeah, they just have to find that fine margin between both. Because it's either they're good defensively, they don't score anything, or they score something and they give up 10 goals. It's like they just need to find that middle ground.
And also, another American scored again in this game. Timothy Chandler scored a goal minute after he got subbed in.
Oh.
So that's pretty good.
Americans taking over the Bundesliga one step at a time.
Yeah, North Americans,
Wow.
Yeah.
Canadians and Americans.
Yeah, he has 5 goals this season, Chandler, in with 10 starts, which is really good because he's a right back.
Yeah, and he hasn't been fit the past couple, so it's good to see him back in the side and back on form.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on, we had a 0-0 draw between Werder Bremen and Mönchengladbach. There's really nothing much to say about this game. It was just
I'm sure that game couldn't have been too exciting.
Yeah, no. It came alive in the last 10 minutes, I would say. Like it literally, like it was relatively dry for the most part, but in the end, Jan Sommer had 7 saves, but he also kind of made problems for himself in the last 10. He basically rolled it out to Milo Rashica like twice, and he's a fantastic goal, like best goalkeeper in the Bundesliga this season. Most saves, like really high save percentage, but like when it comes to distributing, like oh man, it was not good. He didn't make any. It wasn't very convincing saves, but I mean 7 saves, like that's a very good return.
So
it was just he just.
Are you saying it was kind of inflated because like some of the saves were caused by his poor distribution in the first place?
In a manner, but I think like it just happens. Like one of them, he rolled it straight to Rashica. I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
The other ones, it was just more that he couldn't keep hold of it. But I don't blame him for really any of it. Like I think, Bremen are kind of unlucky not to have won it.
Did you watch?
No, but I mean, you look over. I mean, I've seen the highlights, and you look over the statistics, and it's very much in Bremen's favor. But neither of them cracked 1 xG, so a 0-0 like is to be expected in the end.
So from one draw to another, we had Leipzig and Hertha Berlin drawing 2-2, and I think Hertha Berlin let this one get away from them because not only did they have I'll go through the match facts here. So 9th minute, Marco Grujic, yeah, he scores in the 9th minute, and so Hertha Berlin are flying off, they're starting great, and I feel like this is a problem for Leipzig, because if I'm not mistaken, Leipzig have given up like early goals like ever since they've come back, right?
For the most part, yeah.
So and then like about 20 minutes later, Lucas Klosterman, he scores for Leipzig, so it's 1-1. And then it goes into halftime and all that such. And then Leipzig get a red card in the 63rd minute. This is Marcel Halstenberg. And then literally 5 minutes later, Patrick Schick, he scores for Leipzig. So it's 2-1. And Hertha Berlin don't know what to do when they have a man up. That's what it seemed. Luckily, they got a penalty in the 82nd minute to salvage a draw. But if I'm Berlin, I'm shaking my head walking away with this result.
Was that Lookman who gave away the penalty?
Yeah.
This one, yeah. He had a good game that game, right, too, for Leipzig.
Yeah, I mean, the second half he came on and he was generally he was very active. But just not a good challenge. And kind of brainless. He didn't need to make that challenge, honestly.
Who gave away the penalty? Who was it?
Lookman. Ademola Lookman.
Oh, Ademola Lookman, the Englishman.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that goal for Schick too. That one was the one where the keeper saved.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That is one of the weirdest goals you'll see.
Oh yeah, I was about to say
it was
that.
like he was trying to catch it instead of palm it down.
It bobbled around his hand and he just
arm,
slapped it back.
I thought they lost it there, for good.
Yeah, it's hard to come back when something like that happens.
Yeah, especially it's about to be Leipzig too, and then that happens.
That's something like a middle schooler does. You don't want to see them.
No,
That's something that Marcus would do if he was in there.
Good thing I'm not a goalie.
I've seen you make a few saves though.
In a meg or two in my time.
Yes, indeed. I've been the victim of many. But I mean, yeah, Jarstein is a good keeper. It's just, I mean, like when you make an error like that, you know, like it's to be expected.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like it's I'm hats off to Hertha, honestly. They played well in the second half at least, and overall, I think, you know, like they should have won it. In fairness, I mean, when it came down to it, Ibišević, the equalizer, very good penalty. You know, or sorry, no, it was made the penalty.
Yeah.
Which was, you know, good penalty. You know, can't take anything away from it. So yeah, but I mean, good value for the draw, but yeah, not a good game for Leipzig. They're now at 10 draws, and that's the most in the Bundesliga.
Wow.
And
They're stuck in third place too. That's
what's
impressive.
happened. They were very good at the start, and you know, Julian Nagelsmann is without a doubt the best overall coach in the league. They just can't get the wins, and I don't know. They kept Timo Werner really quiet, but
and Nkunku got his 13th assist of the season, which is I'm pretty sure it's number one in the league.
No. Sancho and Müller are higher.
Oh, Sancho and Müller, but I mean, yeah, 13 is pretty amazing.
It's really
What's
good.
Müller at like 16?
Yeah, Müller is sitting on 17 right now,
17.
Oh,
and so he's
17, 16. Wow,
he's three away from the record set by De Bruyne.
Kevin De Bruyne, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
In 2015. So, yeah, it's good company for Nkunku to be keeping, particularly, you know, within your first season in the Bundesliga. But I mean, he just wasn't getting the chances at PSG, and now I think he's really shown. I mean, it was from a set piece, but he has shown this season that he is very, very good, you know. And I think the 4-2-2-2 that they played suits him better than when they play 3 at the back. But
I was gonna say my memory of Nkunku before this season was just he was a bench warmer at PSG, so that's why like I see like the 13 assists stat to be like amazing, because he was just unheard of at PSG. He just warmed the bench. So now it's really good to see him getting chances.
Yeah, and last season was really the first season that he started getting minutes under Tuchel. There's undeniable quality, and there's a lot of that in the French in Ligue 1. Like there's a lot of that, these, you know, underused or undiscovered gems. I mean, you just have to you dig far enough, and you can find players like that. And I think that's what Leipzig have done really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So from a draw to a draw, we had another draw. It was a 0-0 draw. We had Augsburg versus Paderborn. And this game, just like nobody wanted to score. It seemed, because there were chances, just that like nobody could put it away.
Paderborn,
lots of shooting, not good
trying
shooting.
to confirm the relegation, basically.
Yeah, Paderborn, Gonzo. 19 points. They're what? No, I mean, they're third.
No, Werder
they're
Bremen
done.
has
Yeah,
a
they're not
game in
coming
hand
up.
too.
Yeah, they're not coming up.
I think that's
unfortunate for them.
Death sentence.
Yeah, that's tough, but I don't think, you know, you can say like, you know, I don't know if they really, really expect it to stay up, but I mean,
yeah,
obviously there's always that one promotion team that's supposed to go right back down.
Oh yeah.
Very rarely do you ever see all the promotion teams staying up.
I remember it happened in the Premier League, I think a couple seasons ago, where all three teams
didn't that happen like 2 years ago or something? It was Huddersfield. Huddersfield, Fulham.
Cardiff?
Was it
Cardiff?
Cardiff?
It wasn't Cardiff.
Huddersfield, Fulham, and probably I don't even know, Barnsley or something.
Burnley, I think. Might have been Burnley.
No, I don't know.
No, not Burnley. Oh, whatever. But this is we're on Bundesliga now. Bundesliga doesn't even matter.
Yeah, but that game really has nothing to say. But Paderborn are digging their grave right now. They'll be down in the second Bundesliga in no time. Hopefully, they can use their experience that they had up here and try and build a little bit better. You know.
Yeah, and I think this is good for it's. I mean, all Augsburg needed to do was not lose, frankly. I'm not saying it's necessarily a good result for them, but it definitely prevents them from getting into the scrap when we come down to it. It's really now down to Werder, Düsseldorf, Mainz, Frankfurt. I think Augsburg and Union, which we'll get onto. I mean, they look like they're going to be safe.
Yeah, Frankfurt have to be really careful. They've had their only highlight of the season was when they beat Bayern 5-1, which is obviously like an amazing result. But it's just been horrible apart from that.
Yeah, they also have a game in hand.
Okay. They actually
do.
do. All right, that is important then. Werder Bremen also have a game in hand, which is huge.
Yeah, they're playing each other, like next week, Wednesday or something.
Oh, that's a big match.
Yeah. Because if Werder Bremen loses that, then you can kiss, the league goodbye, basically.
Yeah.
They're usually a stay-up team too. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Werder Bremen never gets relegated.
Who was it a couple years ago that got relegated for the first time? Like
Hamburg.
Yeah, Hamburg.
Oh yeah.
That's right. They're not even up here this year. That's unfortunate. They went from being the only team that never got relegated to now being relegated.
Yeah. And for Werder Bremen, Mila Rashica has to leave that club. He's a very good talent.
Oh yeah, and he'll get a move. I mean, he's been linked with Premier League clubs and as a potential Jadon Sancho replacement at Dortmund. Mm-hmm. And I mean, obviously his numbers don't necessarily reflect that same quality, but he's still, there is still a lot to be said for him. I think he's a really good talent. I think he would do better not to move to a massive club like Dortmund. I think he would do better moving to just an upper mid-table club. Like he could, he's definitely Europa League quality. That much is clear. Is he Champions League quality?
Not yet.
Probably in a couple of years, one or 2 years. But I mean, he has had a very, very good season, and he's probably been one of the only bright spots for with Boston for Werder Bremen. So, yeah.
And speaking of Werder Bremen, hasn't Pavlenka been really bad this season? Because I think last season he was the best goalie in the league, and it just went horrible for him.
They've all kind of fallen off the map. I mean, I think it was just the loss.
They have second most goals conceded this season behind Mainz.
Yeah, worst goal difference.
Worst goal difference. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I think it's the loss of Max Kruse. It's when you lose a talent that good, you're not gonna perform as well. And he was he scored, but he also stitched the attack together. I think that's the kind of the difference is that they don't.
Did they not replace him with anyone? Did they not attempt to? Replace him?
No, not really. Jeff Sargent has been getting a lot of minutes.
Another American.
Yeah, and he's been all right. But again, really a one for the future type thing. I don't think he's too young to be relied upon as your mainstay.
Yeah.
Move on to the next game.
Yeah, next game here we have Dusseldorf versus Schalke, and Dusseldorf 1-2-1.
Schalke.
Schalke, yeah.
Oof. They're trying not to make it to Europa League at this point because Bayern, you can say Bayern will win that what's it called, DF Pokal, but I don't know. Schalke does not want that seventh.
No, they don't want it.
But.
Well, yeah, I think coming down to it, Schalke have absolutely no attack. It's you got Benito Raman out for this game, Amin Hadi out for this game, Suat Serdar out for this game. Those are your three top scorers, and 2 out of 3 of them are, frankly, midfielders. So they just don't have anybody who's really gonna get the goals, and so they Guido Burgstaller given his chance, and frankly a terrible game. No shots, completely inactive. He had one little layoff for I think it was John Joe Kenny, the Everton loanee, and that was about it. So it's kind of clear why they lost. They didn't have the attack, but Weston McKennie scored from Bastian Ochipa's free kick. Good header.
Yeah. Yeah, despite like you said, all those players that were missing, this is the first game. This is the first goal they've scored in quarantine.
Yep.
I mean, after quarantine, this is the first goal they've
Flying
scored.
America.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the
they've
last 2 games they got thumped 4-0, 3-0.
This is a really dejecting loss, too. The fact that they took the lead against a team that's like, what place, like 16th or just low down there.
Yeah, Dusseldorf are currently sitting in 16th.
Yeah, that's a bad loss to go off of.
But they played. I mean, Dusseldorf were not bad at all. I mean, 13 shots, 8 on target, 1.73 expected goals. Like they were good. I think they were just good value for the win. They brought on one of Schalke's loanees, Skripski. He came on late. He had 2 assists in the previous game. This game he missed the Giltez chance to make it 3-0. 3-1.
Didn't have like a parent club rule where he couldn't play.
They do not. So he was.
I thought that was like always happened for the loanies.
Yeah, no, not in Germany, I guess. But yeah, no, he did not. He really should have finished that or laid it off. I think he really should have crossed it because he had so many options, but it was just poor.
I mean, yeah, they won the game anyway, so
Yeah.
in hindsight,
no, it's fine, but like it was one of those things where if you're trying to prove yourself to your parent club, you should be finishing or assisting, just to make this.
Maybe they like it though that they didn't score.
Yeah, they would.
Maybe they like it though. Yeah.
All right, moving on. We have Hoffenheim beating Cologne 3-1. Good result for Hoffenheim.
This was a good game, honestly.
Yeah.
It was Baumgartner. He's like 20 years old. he had 2 goals and 1 assist. Check out the assist, honestly.
Oh yeah, back
brilliant flick. Oh my gosh,
that was nice. It was silky.
I'm gonna look it up.
Hoffenheim
is honestly lovely. So
game had 2 red cards as well.
Yep. It was
no one.
Yeah, one.
They only had 1 red card, but they missed a penalty. Mark Lutz missed a penalty.
Oh, it was
blind. It was 2 red cards. Yeah.
Born out. I don't know if this was a game where they used VAR for one of them.
They used. I think they did for both actually. Because you have to review it for a red card anyway. So, but yeah, no, I think it was the first one that they retracted, and it's a definite red, honestly. Nurse just slides in, and it's just it ain't it. But yeah, I mean,
when he caught him on the back of the ankle.
Yeah, and I can't argue with that.
Oh, okay.
Definitely a red for me. But honestly, I think it comes down to Baumgartner just having a great game. Köln edged it on XG, 2.25 to 1.26 for Hoffenheim. But I mean, 4 dribbles, 2 shots, just generally just a good performance from Baumgartner. He just looked really good. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
All right, to cap off the match week, we have Union Berlin and Mainz ending it with a 1-1 draw. What do you guys got for this?
Just a
oh, we lost Marcus.
This game this is gone.
Yeah, you can go. Keep on going. We'll come back.
So I think Mainz, they just failed to capitalize after Roman Andrich was sent off. But yeah, it was just a straightforward 1-1 draw for both teams. I mean, they don't necessarily, neither of them have particularly fantastic attacks. So you don't expect them to be a very high scoring game.
I mean, Mainz has the worst defense. So Mainz are prone to – oh, shit.
Yeah. But they ended up conceding. It ended up conceding from a free kick, which was really weird. It was just poor wall placement. Honestly, it was just absolutely useless. Ingvartsen, it was an okay free kick. Nothing really much to say about it, but it did the job, and it just got around the wall, and the wall just wasn't placed well enough.
Was that the equalizer or opening the scoring?
I believe it was opening the scoring. And then Baku for Mainz, the right back, 2 tackles, 2 interceptions, and then the goal. So he had a pretty decent game, but there isn't really much to pull out and say, like, this is an important game because
it's a good point. It's a good point for Mainz, I think.
Yeah, but against
I was saying, I think it's a good point for them.
I think against Union, who are kind of close to them on the table, you one of these teams really really needed the win, or both of them.
Yeah, they
won.
They
didn't get it. They just got the point. So,
I think both teams will be happy with the point.
Yeah, but if I'm Mainz, you're still looking behind you, looking over.
Yeah, both teams will be content.
There's Dusseldorf. There's behind Mainz.
Only 1 point above the relegation playoff.
Yeah, so it's tight down there, and it's actually tight all over the table, to be honest. But I think this battle had Mainz gone on and won it after Antrich was sent off. It's just that extra level of comfort for the next 6 games because every point matters now. So.
Do you think Werder Bremen?
They face Dortmund and Leverkusen.
Are definitely going to be the relegated teams.
Paderborn's definitely going down.
I think Werder Bremen still has a small chance.
Yeah. So would you put Dusseldorf?
I wouldn't be too surprised if they came out.
Well, yeah, you got to think about that.
And also,
that first relegation spot is a playoff, so they could get that spot.
Yeah, I was going to say there might be only 2 relegated teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I'd expect Werder to pick up a couple of points, but I don't know if they'll catch Dusseldorf. A 5-point gap at this stage. You just hope that Dusseldorf drop a lot of points, which they probably will. They got their result this weekend, so that's where the gap is. Yep.
Yeah.
But all right, that's match week 28. So we're going to quickly go through match week 29 because we do have some breaking news. So we'll go with just going through all the fixtures. We have Freiburg versus Leverkusen on Friday. And on Saturday, we have a huge slate, which is Hertha Berlin versus Augsburg, Mainz versus Hoffenheim, Schalke versus Werder Bremen, Wolfsburg versus Frankfurt, Bayern Munich versus Dusseldorf. And on Sunday, to cap off the match week, we have Mönchengladbach versus Union Berlin and Paderborn versus Dortmund. What's the big ones you guys are going to be looking out here for?
I'm going to say Schalke. If Schalke lose to Werder Bremen, is it right?
Yeah.
Like for the
for
10 games without a win. That would just be terrible. I don't know what their coaching situation is. Is it stable or did they get like a new one recently?
I don't. Yeah. One of the younger coaches in the league. Gosh, his name's escaping me.
I have no idea.
But
right.
I think there's a general level of trust. So.
Okay, that's good.
But it's
like you said that they just need reinforcements really on offense.
Yeah, I think there needs to be definitely a defensive rebuild. A lot of their defense is older. Gebre Selassie is no longer the player he was a couple of years ago. Velikovic is not a very good defender, in my opinion. But so I think they need kind of just a rebuild all over. They need a couple. I think the midfield is okay. Bittencourt is fine. Davy Klaassen is all right.
For which team, Schalke or Werder?
For Werder. And Schalke need a full attack. They just need a new attack. So we'll see.
Yeah.
So, but I look at that game. I look at Wolfsburg, Eintracht Frankfurt. That one, Frankfurt need the win.
Also, do you know what happened to Oh, do you know what happened to Brila Mbolo? Because he used to play for Schalke.
He's been having
Where
a
does he play now?
fantastic season
Have
at
you
number
heard?
10 for
Do you know them?
yeah, for Mönchengladbach.
Oh, you play for Mönchengladbach now. Okay.
Yeah, so he's been having a very good season, playing as a number 10.
Yeah,
Really,
he struggled. He struggled with Schalke. Really hit.
yeah, and that's just down to generally just not being able to put together a competent attack. And he's a he's a talented
I'm
player.
trying to figure out I'm trying to figure out how much they sold him for.
It wasn't a very high fee.
Yeah,
and
he's still young too. He's like 23 years old.
Yep.
But he had a lot of hype.
But all right, that's that's match week 29 and a quick
Yeah,
preview.
Do you guys see any other games that you're excited
4 or 5 years ago, he had a lot of hype around him, but like he hasn't really.
Nah, he hasn't kicked on, but I think under Marco Holza, he's been really.
There's not
really
that many
good
amazing games. I guess the game of the week. Yeah. I think so. What would you guys agree is the biggest game to look out for? Would it be Wolfsburg Eintracht? No. Oh, hello. You hear me right now?
Yeah, we got you.
What'd you say, Amir?
Hello.
Eintracht Frankfurt?
Hello.
No, you can't hear
It's lagging so far.
I was saying, do you think? Okay, I was saying, do you?
I can hear y'all. I mean, for the most part.
Yeah, I got Marcus and Amir frozen on my screen right now.
Hello? All right, can you hear me now?
Breaking news or
Hello, testing.
Yeah.
I got
all right. We got all right. Moving on.
Just carry on. Just go on.
Yeah. So moving on, right? So as of today, Thursday, May 28th, the Premier League has confirmed they're coming back on the June 17th, but Serie A, no more than about 10 minutes ago, they announced that they're going to be coming back June 20th. So it looks like all the leagues are starting to come back now, which is a good thing.
Ooh, that's going to be nice.
And
is there a scheduled finish too?
What's that?
Okay. Is there a scheduled finish for the leagues? Did they have a planned finish? Like, will the seasons end before the Champions League starts in in August if it happens?
I have no idea.
Oh, you don't know? All right.
Yeah. Now the official statement has only read their start dates, and I think mostly the reason that they've done that is just to get for the shareholders as well as the TV companies who control the rights, they needed like a statement just saying, yeah, it's definitely happening, so that they can kind of manage things a little better. So there's that. But I mean, they've I don't know what the status of Italy in training is. I think they're still in phase 1. I know that Premier League has entered phase 2, which is contact training this week. So we'll see. And they've only had 12 positive COVID tests. And that's, I mean, of the people tested, only like 99% of them have come back negative. So yeah. That's a decent return, and it's about the same as what the Bundesliga was at. Bundesliga was slightly better, but we'll see.
If like a couple players from a team get the virus though, like what happens if like a few?
They would have to cancel the season, like honestly, at that point, right? Because
more than likely
the same thing.
Quarantine.
Or they could just honestly, they could just let it keep. They could just go, because in Portugal, Benfica had a tested positive player, and they still going. So
yeah, so
soccer's too much contact for that, and too many people that are in the locker room.
I think at this point,
they're just
gonna keep on going. I think they're just gonna keep going at this point.
Spread it.
They have been kind of doing that, and in Germany, that's what they've done. Dynamo Dresden, the whole team basically tested positive. Augsburg's manager had to quarantine for the first match week. So they've kind of they haven't really been stopping the league. It's more just if someone tests positive, we isolate everyone that we can and leave it at that. I don't know if the Premier League will do player isolation before the season starts. They should. It's not the most ideal situation for the players, but they probably should be doing that because that's how you make sure it's safe. That's what Bundesliga did, so we'll see. But we have a definite
Yeah,
start
and
date.
I remember speaking of like those precautions. I remember this is pretty stupid, but like in like February or March, like a month before the shutdown, the FA made it so like players couldn't shake hands at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, no spitting on the ground, all that.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
shirt swapping.
but they're
those
in
type of
constant
things.
contact.
Shirt swapping. Yeah.
But they're in constant contact anyway. Like,
That's
so
what I mean.
redundant.
It's pretty like if you don't know you have it, and then you go to like a corner and like marking everyone like man to man. It's just it's gonna be pretty bad if like the entire like entire starting 11 of Liverpool gets it. Like imagine how mad the fans players would be.
Oh,
And then they put out that Carabao Cup team
Terrible.
that lost to Villa. Like,
yeah.
They put out the BT. Almost beat Arsenal.
Speaking of cups, by the way, I think they should just drop the FA Cup. But has there been any word on that?
I think since the
They're gonna
FA
play
Cup
the FA
has
Cup.
ties to Europe, they probably won't because there's only like what I think they're at quarterfinals
they're
already. It's like
semifinals. They
United.
have to be definitely at semifinals.
Oh,
They can't.
is
No.
United?
But
No,
they'll
it's-
have to do one leg.
I think it's quarters. I thought.
They still have a ways to go.
Yeah,
for the
it's
FA
either
Cup.
quarters or like knockout. Or six.
That's the thing with England. They take forever to get that thing done.
It ends at the end of the season, like May. Yeah, because it has so
The
much.
FA Cup, it's one leg, but then the semifinals they do two legs at Wembley. But I think they'll just have to do one leg for the semifinals now to like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it shouldn't. I don't know why it's two legs. It's weird, especially if it's at the same stadium.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both at Wembley. Yes, right. I mean, I think it's okay though. Like without this quarantine stuff, like in past seasons, to have the two-legged semifinal.
Yeah, and just other news in Italy, the Coppa Italia semifinals. Since we're talking about cups, it's going to be held a week before the league comes back.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
Wow,
Yeah.
semifinals for an Italian Cup.
That's an interesting test case. I think they'll run them and then they'll test everybody after. And if they see any problems, then they'll probably delay the start of the league. Or, that would be what I would do. That would probably be the most advisable thing. I think that's actually kind of smart because, it's not advisable to have more fixtures than you need to. It's probably better just to cancel it altogether. It allows them to just see like, okay, this is our little test. Like this is our this is how we
if
see.
It fails,
yeah. Not that I'm for putting players in the firing line at all like that, but it's safer than throwing everybody in the ring and going for it.
Yeah, it's less risk, I guess. And about the Coppa Italia, I remember like the first leg for the semifinals were played just before quarantine.
Yeah.
It was Napoli, Inter, Milan, Juve. Napoli, they got a huge win against
Yeah, I was
Inter.
just about to say that. Like this Coppa Italia, this semifinal and final looks really fun. Like it's going to be really fun to watch.
Who's in the semis?
Mm-hmm.
So it's Inter. I was about to say
Inter,
Miami,
Napoli,
yes.
and Milan.
David Beckham infiltrated Italy.
So yeah, Inter Milan versus Napoli, which Napoli have a 1-0 lead,
Okay.
and AC Milan versus Juventus, and Juventus
That's
it's tied
1-1.
1-1. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Ronaldo.
So we
didn't win.
get to see Ronaldo before the league comes back.
And Zlatan too. Zlatan.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
I
about
forgot.
No, maybe not. Maybe not.
Oh yeah,
His-
Zlatan has
his
injury.
Oh,
So
okay.
they're saying that it might be the end of his career. They're not.
He'll go
Really? What?
somewhere.
They're
He'll
saying
go
that
somewhere.
to make him
He'll
look
go
better
to
when he
like
comes back.
Ajax.
That's
I think he'll
shame.
go like Ajax or somewhere random.
Not Ajax. Probably like back to Sweden.
Yeah.
No, he's
He would say
not
too
loving
big.
Sweden.
He's
not loving
yeah.
Sweden.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah. He's a
They
Swedish
ruined his.
guy,
You hear about what they did to his statue?
Yeah, I
in
was about
Sweden?
to say they did that.
because he called the national
Yeah.
team like garbage.
No, because he bought a sharehold for a rival team that he played
Yeah.
for. I think he bought. Yeah. So
And he
Oh,
announced on
he's
his
garbage.
he announced on like social media on Instagram that like he's joining them. Like he made people think that he's gonna start playing for them.
That was the thing.
Yeah, like I'm coming to Sweden or so. I forgot what he did.
That was a while. That was like
That's
year
a
or two.
typical Zlatan thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And I never heard about this injury until now. That's a huge shame because I really wanted to see him at the biggest stage, like one more time.
yeah.
And I felt like the Coppa Italia was.
What do you mean? He was at the biggest stage when he played for LA Galaxy, bro. He lost the LAFC.
He couldn't even win an El Tráfico, dude.
Yeah.
What can he do against Juventus and mighty Ronaldo?
What do you mean? He won El Tráfico.
That's right. He did.
They
He
lost-
won
he won
most
the
of it. They
playoffs
lost in the
already.
playoffs. Yeah, they lost a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean, on his
like,
debut, his debut was
he
amazing.
did
4-3
well.
win.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
did well.
But we'll talk MLS when it comes back. Maybe we won't. I don't think we will, but you know. But we will
Massive
talk
problem.
more about Italy when time comes. But as of right now, it looks like our next episode will be previewing more Portugal, even though you guys don't know anything. I'm still trying to find a guest to hop on, but we'll definitely do that. But I think this is all we got for this episode. It's been a long one. I think it cracked over an hour.
Right.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. So I want to thank you guys for watching this. This is probably our best episode yet, I think, right?
the debut went
Yeah.
very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
take
Nick-
it. I'll take
Nick
it.
is the
Rashford
glue,
Nets.
bro. Nick is the
Rashford
glue,
Nets.
bro. But thank you for watching. If you like what you saw, subscribe, leave a comment, like the video, share the video, spread the word. We're trying to do something here, you know. Maybe not going to get anywhere, but you know,
Tell them
we're at least trying. But I'm your host Rob. Wishing you goodbye. Marcus, what do you got to say to the people?
Have a nice weekend. Watch some soccer.
There you go, Nick.
Stay safe, everyone. Don't do anything too stupid. Enjoy the football.
And Amir.
I'd say shout out to r/soccer on Reddit. That's like the best place for me to get news from.
Hey.
And with these times, like there's always news stories every day.
Beautiful. We're gonna try and get
So
a
yeah, you
partnership
should
with them.
just keep in touch with the news.
All right, people. We'll see you later.